Trees that once lined the streets of downtown Lowville have now disappeared, but the spaces won't be empty for long. 7 News reporter Chad Charette tells us why the trees were removed and what they'll be replaced with.
Now you see them, now you don't. Trees lining the streets of downtown Lowville have seemingly disappeared, and folks are taking notice.
I was confused to see them all cut down. I'm used to seeing some nice young trees growing and thriving, and they're all gone. It was just confusing. I was wondering what happened.
The answer is simple. They were cut down by the village. Lowville Public Works Superintendent Paul Dinez tells us the trees had a tendency to get overgrown, posing a number of issues.
Those trees were blocking state signs, direction signs, crossing signs. I think that was one of the main reasons that we decided to do that.
In their place, the village plans to put in flower pots and a series of smaller, more manageable trees. Dinez says it'll make things look more inviting, but some residents, like Harry Smith, aren't convinced.
I think it's awful because they're blooming, and it made things look really nice around here, and people were had bird feeders in one of them and they took them down.
Dinez estimates the new planters will be put in at some point within the next few weeks. The village is currently working with the local landscaping company to get it done. Chad Charette, 7 News.